Suzanne, if I could go to you, and just talking around, you've mentioned this, job seeking, we know as recruiters, it always involves a number of rejections along the way, even in a very buoyant market. But as you've already mentioned, job seekers are experiencing more rejection and more no's than normal due to increased competition in the job market. And you've mentioned also situations where they're making applications and just hearing nothing, which is really difficult. So what's your best advice for dealing with what might feel like constant confident knockbacks, constant no's perhaps, and very few positives?
Okay, I think there's various. The first one has to be, and I know this is easy to say, but remember it's your role that was made redundant, not your skills and expertise and knowledge and all the great stuff that you have. That's key. Except, again, easier to say, but except that rejections are going to be part and parcel of job search. And like I mentioned at the beginning earlier, hardly anybody gets a role the first job they ever go for. And we're seeing in this market multiple rejections. But what I am seeing is the hard work absolutely does pay off. And I've had people reach out to me who have had over 100 rejections. I actually had somebody message me yesterday that had 200 rejections, 20 interviews, and then has landed a role and was over the moon. So I am also seeing people who 3 rejections and then they've landed a role. So I think that's got to be key. Remember that that's going to be part and parcel of the job search. With the rejections, really focus on the bits that you can control, and there will, for example, if you can get some feedback, learn from that feedback to help you for that next role. That's got to be key. There's going to be things in your job search that you can't control, and again, just really try and focus on the bits that you can. Take some time out. If you've had multiple rejections, if you can take some time out, just to recharge your batteries, to refocus, that can really help. And it may be a couple of things, I think. If you've had lots and lots of rejections, try and stop and take a helicopter view. What's not working? What has been working? Because the more and more rejections, the more and more we'll panic. So try and stop and take a helicopter view. And where are you getting rejected? Is it at the CV stage? Your CV's just not getting through? Is it at interview stage? You keep getting knockbacks at interviews? Is it that you're speaking to recruiters and they sound so pleased to talk to you and they don't call you back? So really think about which bit, if you're struggling there, and it may also benefit you from having some coaching, whether that be job search or interview coaching.
What about job seekers who are sending, we've talked about it, sending off hundreds of applications and CVs, getting little or no feedback, and the ones that perhaps might be getting interviews and are getting to a final stage but always feel like they're coming in second, so they're getting interviews but they're not getting that final offer yet. What's your advice to them in terms of keep remaining motivated and how you can keep going in terms of that situation?
And again, it's something I've seen a lot, Claire, for sure. And actually, one thing I will say, you've just mentioned that little word yet. It's such a powerful word. You haven't got that offer yet. It will come. I recently I was so delighted for a chap who had 6 knockbacks at interviews. He'd been picked to the post 6 times. His confidence just was on the floor. He was a senior manager and he just really struggling now. And then suddenly he had 2 job offers, and I am seeing things can turn quickly. And I've also seen people who have said to me, I've been picked to the post again, I've now got nothing in the pipeline. But actually then suddenly things have come up because they've been active on LinkedIn, because they've been refreshing their CV regularly on job boards. That can make a difference. Because they have kept their job search efforts going, or all the hard work they've put in, suddenly can turn. So it will come, that little words, you haven't had it yet. but just a few tiny little things practically that you can do. For those of you, if you have put your CV on job boards and you're not getting anything back and it's making you feel unconfident because you've had nothing back, do refresh it every 7 to 14 days. It enables recruiters to see that. Make sure that your LinkedIn profile is optimized. Make sure that if you can, join the community on LinkedIn. I've seen such a community feel on LinkedIn this year. There's job search groups going up, so you don't have to be alone doing your job searching. That can make a difference. And I think another little thing just to mention is the power of networking. And we know that it's always been over 70% of the job market has been hidden and not advertised. I ran a poll last week, and actually 34, I think it was, % of people had landed roles via networking in the last year. So having networking conversations can just stop the staring at the screen. But certainly the hard work will pay off, and don't lose sight of that. That would be a key thing from me.